YeahThisMilk starring.
My name is JFrisBeats. JFris is what they call me, and in some capacities, I go by DJFrisBeats. This stage lets us exercise our demons with lyrical calisthenics, taking thoughts of shattered dreams and scattered suspension to begin them patched and stitched together like authentics. Every word that is mentioned can be potentially potent. We're required to take the temperature of the room and make the proper diagnosis. Carefully chosen are the correct components to be delivered directly with intended purpose and focus. Every word that is spoken is verbal vaccinations to try to heal the broken as we reach the masses sonically through every line written and every bar quoted. We desire to inject the strongest impact, but not to the point of overdosing, so we can only distribute them in 3 to 5 minute doses. This stage is therapeutic medication, more effective than any work of those with doctorates attached with inordinate hourly wages. It's not a place that's meant to be played with. There's people that's in need of sacred places that permit the escape from the hate and the heat between races. So when we grace these stages, we should perform like never before and give the same energy for the various houses, whether you got 1 or 1,000, and explore new territories that is yet unfounded. We're constantly surrounded by hopeful promises, immersed in an embankment of empty messages, words filled with screams of passion, but their souls are lacking from lives void of the actions. Too many will write based only upon what an audience or judges will like, instead of giving the people what they really think and feel. Only taking the stage to get verbal praise, maybe a going poet or trying to grow in mass appeal. Teaching messages they hardly believe while truly emotion is concealed. What's the point of clapping your hands and stating real talk when the life you talk isn't real? This here stage lets us express our regrets, exercise our demons and tell you how we're blessed. Dissect the complex or make deliveries direct. Careful to not make this exposure indecent. Respect this time throughout a lifetime, but especially more recent. And try to get all who take the stage to craft their words with some meaning and revert back to when you were teaching what you believe in. Now, maybe in this time of using lyrical calisthenics, I've been able to flip some minds, but whether I pass or fail, I'll do better the next time. On this stage.
That's official. What's up, bro?
What's happening, man?
Huh?
Everything's
That's
good,
what's up, man. Where were you raised, bro?
Raised? That would be the one and only well-known Willingboro, New Jersey, which is Burlington County. That is South Jersey, about 20 minutes away from Philly.
All right, tell me about how you was raised. Make us feel like we was you being raised up. Tell us about how you was raised.
I wouldn't wish that on nobody.
You would wish that on nobody.
But yeah. You know, I'm always thinking, just earlier today, I was just thinking, man, I did have a bad childhood. Because a lot of people told me, man, you ain't never had no Ninja Turtle pies and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I kind of remember the Mr. T cereal, so I had a bad childhood. But besides that, though, it was suburban life. You know, it wasn't the city of Philly or anything like that. Thankfully, my parents moved us away right before I was born. So I was actually born in New Jersey. Every day was somewhat rush through my homework, run to my friend's house down the street, video games, whatever. Or I stayed in the house, stayed to myself, and all I did was watch wrestling, listen to music, or play Genesis or whatever. That's all I ever did. So I don't really have any good stories, unfortunately. But introvert, hermit, shell, all those kind of words is who I was.
Oh, okay. What was your favorite video game growing up?
Sega Genesis, Lakers versus Celtics. Even though that was the first of, like, you know, what turned into like NBA Live and 2K and all that. Lakers Celtics was the first one, even though they didn't actually make the finals that year. But they were the big team, so it was named after them. There was only like 8 teams in the game. Lakers Celtics, Double Dribble on Nintendo.
Double Dribble.
yes, where you can shoot the threes from the corner and never miss. That's, if it wasn't sports, I didn't play anything else. So like I never beat like Mario or nothing like that. I never beat any adventure.
You never
games.
beat Zelda?
Nah, have I gotten past the first board in Zelda?
What about Super Contra?
I did beat Contra.
Okay, I already say, well,
up, down, left, right, BABA. I do remember Contra.
I already said, if you ain't played Contra now, this interview over.
I almost did it. I was almost up. All right.
But you what about Tecmo Bowl?
Tecmo Bowl, definitely. Tecmo Bowl and Super Tecmo Bowl with Bo Jackson and all that.
Yeah, that was the shit too. That little halfback pass. Yeah. 4
plays, you guessed the play. And yeah, man. That's all I did was only sports games, unfortunately. So that's all I was. Like, I started playing basketball when I was like 4. When I was like 5, I was the one that they used to teach all the other kids how to do everything. And then by the time I was 7, I was like starting on the team that went undefeated and won the title. By the time I was 8, then I started making like every All-Star team. So it was like basketball was like all I knew back then. So I didn't play like any other kind of games and that. I didn't have the heart for it. Like
what position you played in basketball?
With my still current height, I had to be the point guard. But I was like Mark Jackson because like I was like the point guard, but I wasn't all that fast. But I like to post up, which even though I was short, so it's like how does that work? But my post game was crazy though. My post game was actually better than like speed and shooting and all that stuff. Like I would lead the league in assists, but I only scored like 6 points a game though. But I would have like 11 assists though, you know. So weird, but you know.
What about when you how did you get into sports? Like what made you choose to play basketball? I guess that's the better thing I'm trying to ask.
Because my dad was already the coach. Like we had the WBA, Willingboro Basketball Association. We had WBA, and my dad was like the most, I guess you could say, most popular coach or whatever. He's like the most popular coach or whatever. He was the one that everybody knew. He's the one that everybody wanted to be on his team. My brother was like the best player that my town has ever had. So it was just like natural. It was just a given that I was gonna go right down that line. I was never that big, so football wasn't really it. Baseball was way too slow. Soccer, I didn't have the discipline to not use my hands. So basketball was it. That was all my brothers did it. I was going to follow right in line with that.
So what positions did your brother play? Your brothers? How many brothers you had?
Altogether it was 3, but one was in the Marines, so he wasn't necessarily there. One was big, so he was like always a center. The other one was like, he was basically the LeBron of my town. He played every position. Like he could score 20 a game. He could get 15 rebounds and he could get like 10 blocks. So it was like whatever he needed, he was basically the LeBron of the town.
Did y'all ever play against each other at the house?
Yeah, I didn't beat him until age 16, 17, somewhere around there, and I had to use a lot of post-up moves in order to do it. But yeah, he
probably one of the greatest days of your life. You remember the date?
I remember we was in Somerville, South Carolina, on my cousin's basketball court. I still remember that day. Yes, I remember. I wish I remember the date. I usually do, but nah, not this time.
That's what's up, man. That's dope.
Yeah.
So when you say you played basketball. So did you play basketball all the way through high school, or did you stop?
I stopped. I was into it till I was like 13, and then I started gaining weight, which was just beautiful. I was already going to be short. I already kind of knew that. And then I started gaining weight. Like 3rd grade, I got glasses and all, so I was out there looking like Thurl Bailey or James Worthy with the goggles and all that. So, you know what I'm saying? It was just a lot of mental things started taking over, and that's probably like where my depression and all that came from, because I was like an 8-year-old who was starting to gain weight and was starting to wear glasses, and it was like I just started thinking so negatively about myself, and then eventually it just built up more and more, and then it just all spilled over, and I was like, you know what? Instead of losing weight, getting in shape and all that, and gaining speed, since I'm like so much shorter than everybody else, I should be by far the fastest, but yet I'm one of the slowest. So instead of working on that, I just kind of stopped. I just kind of settled for that, and I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good being pudgy like this or whatever. I don't know if it was from like all my brothers or whatever. You know, naturally siblings are gonna call you fat and point out all your flaws and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I guess I just let it become a reality. So I didn't work on like making any improvements or whatever. I just kind of stayed where I was. So thus I stopped playing basketball after like 13 or so. Like stopped playing seriously, that is, at 13.
So when you said depression, so let me ask you this. How long did it last for you? So
it's still here. So it's not like I remember those 10 years. Nah, it's like these last 30 years or whatever have been just in total darkness, I guess. Great David Ruffin song called World of Darkness that I listen to every once in a while. It's like, it's been here since I was a child, and it really has never gone away. Like this year, I made one New Year's resolution I could actually try to keep, and that's to become a lot more positive. That's to finally get rid of my depression rather than accepting it. Like I've been dealing with it for all these decades. I'm used to it. I might as well, you know what I'm saying? I can just keep on going with it. It hasn't bothered me like that. So I can just keep doing it. But this was the first time I ever said, I'm actually going to get rid of that now. I'm actually going to move past it. So that depression is not like it's not like, yeah, I remember that. I'm still going through it actually.
All right. So all right, here go a different question. How are you still going through it when you're not that, I guess a better way. I'm not, first of all, I'm not saying that you're not going through it. I'm asking questions to get to the bottom of it, because to me, you a dope poet. You got 2 books out. You got a CD out. You got your clothing line. You got your shit on right now. How many shows you host? How many shows you DJ for?
I don't even know. Like, shows pop up and go down and stuff, so it's hard to say. But I average between like 7 to 10 per month.
All right, so you average to DJing 7 to 10 dope shows per month, including Cat's Cafe every third Saturday. Shameless plug. I'm sorry. 80s and 90s. Yeah. Me and my sister Wendy come get some every third Saturday. But the thing is, it's like you host all these dope shows. You done written books. You done did CDs. You done hosted dope ass shows. Artistic Fusion. How many? You did it twice, right? Right. Your fourth one will probably either be this year or next year. So tell me, if you that to me, or I'm on the outside. I don't know. I mean, I'm not in your head. But if you that dope, from me and being on the outside, you this dope, and you're a dope poet. I mean, everybody can listen to this. You could tell by the intro. Tell me what's in your mind that still makes you feel like. What makes you still depressed? Like, what is it, the thing that you haven't been able to tackle because you're not fat no more? You know what I mean? You didn't gain that. Or you might. Or listen, let me say this like this. You know how I feel to be muscular, because I seen you at your peak when you was muscular, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. I seen you when you was skinny. I seen pictures of you skinny as shit. So what I'm saying is, once you got out of being fat and all these different things, what is it that still kept your mind at a certain space where, as though we already know you're gonna pass it now because you said that's your New Year's resolution. But what was it that keep you for the last 20 or 30 so years in a depression state when you have achieved so much?
I think the greatest poet we've ever had is Smokey Robinson. I always put him at like top of the list. And see, I'm trying not to like break off into like all these long stories and all that.
You good, man. This your time.
All right.
It's your interview. It's your time.
All right, I'm gonna try to keep it as short as possible. When it comes to Motown, I can really just go forever. So 1967, he created Tears of a Clown. Stevie Wonder had given him this music. He said it sounded like the circus, so he was like, let me write something to it. Tears of a Clown came out. 3 years later, the UK version of Motown was playing it in their clubs or whatever, and it became a big hit. And people was like, yo, you need to release that over in the United States. So 1970, they released Tears of a Clown, even though it was made 3 years earlier and became #1 in 1970. So Tears of a Clown, Smokey writes about this clown named Pagliacci, and his job is to entertain everybody and have this happy exterior, while he on the inside is dying on the inside because his wife was cheating on him and about to leave him and all that stuff. So his job is to entertain everybody else while he's just going through it on the inside. And in fact, one of the poems I've written, Hollywood Portrayal, is based off of Tears of a Clown. So that's the way that I've always been. Just, I gotta have this happy exterior so people don't ask questions. And my goal is to always entertain everybody else, so they don't have to go through what I go through. So I guess I try to disguise it as much as I can, but lately I haven't been able to. But the reason I guess you could say that I still go through all that stuff is from an early childhood. Like I said, with the getting the glasses and the weight and all that stuff, and I've always told myself, like, man, I ain't never gonna have no female. No woman is ever going to come to me, man. I don't know what my future is going to be like. I don't have any kind of skill. I'm not going to make the NBA. I'm not going to have any kind of real job. Or I should say, I'm not going to have a career. I'm only going to have a job, but not a career. You know what I'm saying? And then when the whole college thing went for like a couple years and didn't happen, I'm just like, what am I ever going to do with myself? You know what I mean? It's just from a very early period in my life, I told myself all the things that I'm not gonna do, you know, and that mentality just stayed with me more and more, and then it started to develop and manifest, I guess, into real life. All the things that I said I'm not gonna do, I wind up not doing it because I was telling myself that I wasn't going to. And then when something just like lives in your heart for 20 years or whatever, it just like grows and spreads and it becomes a part of you. So it wasn't like I was just hit with bouts of depression. Like I was depressed. Like that's just who I am. So it's like as much as I'm black or whatever, I'm depressed. That's just who I am. So I couldn't necessarily get rid of it. And thus it's always going to stay there. Until recently, I'm always going to see the negative side of things. I'm always going to understand how it's not going to work out. And I still do that from time to time, but I'm trying to revert and trying to get my mind to focus on the sunny side of things. So it's just naturally ingrained in my brain that things aren't going to work out. So it's not necessarily that all these things keep happening, but it's just my mind is conditioned to say it's not going to happen. And then once my brother died in 2016, then I truly like stopped caring about everything in life. It was like any money I had saved up, I would just spend it. I really didn't care. It was me and my brother's goal to actually work out and get in shape together. Once he died, I gained like 80 pounds after that. You know, I just completely stopped caring. Even to this day, I really don't wear seatbelts when I drive. It's just like whatever. Like one day it was raining and like I saw this car hydroplane and like went sideways right into the barrier on the highway right in front of me. Didn't faze me at all. I still didn't put my seatbelt on or nothing. I was just like, man, you know, I feel bad for you. You know what I'm saying? I felt bad for the person, but it didn't change me at all. It didn't make me wake up. It didn't make me put the seatbelt on, nothing. I was just like, if it happens to me, it does. Many days I've sat there praying that I would actually die at that moment. It wasn't like, you know, people make the jokes or whatever, you know, take me now or something like that or nothing. Like I have literally prayed, like, at this second, would you please just take me? You know what I'm saying? And it's not the way that I want to be anymore, you know? So I just hit the complete rock bottom, especially with my brother passing on. So it's like everything hit the complete ground or whatever. And now I'm trying to bounce back from it. So that's a piece of why I've been so depressed. That was the short version of it.
No, but all right. But we don't have to go short. This is your time. Listen. Right. So my question, here's my other question. Like, so when this is not me being combative. This is a conversation. That's all it is. All right.
I got you.
So the things that you have negative in your mind, like when you how many books you have out?
3.
You have 3 books out. You have a CD out.
Yeah.
You hosted 3 successful shows. You DJ 8 different shows, right? How the fuck can your mind see these things and not see the greatness in that? Do you understand this motherfuckers who can't put out 1 book, bro?
Hey, that's
it's more talented than me and you put together. They won't put out 1 book. So how don't your minds grasp the positive out of all that? Like I said, like I'm interviewing you because to me you're this dope.
Yeah.
You understand? Like I'm only interviewing because you got these accolades to back up. I ain't interviewing you because you fucking DJ for us at the Cats. I'm interviewing you because you fucking dope.
Yeah.
So explain to me why your mind can't grasp the dopeness of that portion of it. Because you had to be positive some type of way to finish the books, the first book, the second book, the third book, the CD, to host the 3 shows, to even the shirt you got on, the hat you got on, that's you. Like, was it a constant battle even just to achieve those things? To DJ the shows? Is it a constant battle just to achieve that? Because even though you said that you haven't achieved all these other things that you done tricked your mind into not achieving, on the other hand, you achieved a massive amount of other things. So make me understand that portion, if you can. And if you want to go somewhere else, we can, because I got a lot of questions anyway.
Hey.
But I like this conversation.
Yeah, I like talking, which is weird. I actually like talking about my depression because it might reach somebody else. So somebody else might be living like with a cloud over their head. In fact, people have always called me Eeyore. and like they send me pictures of Winnie the Pooh, like that donkey or whatever that has like the rain cloud just over his head.
The one to be like, hey Piglet, I'm just doing good today.
That was my name for a while, and like I got so many pictures with that where it's like just raining on me, but I think it's kind of like, I believe the most suicides are like rich people or something like that. Like they buy everything that they could possibly ever want, but they're still not happy or whatever. And like the most suicides happen like around like Christmas time and all that stuff.
Right.
I don't know. It's just I can't really explain it. It just happens that way.
But do you see the dopeness in the things I broke down that you've done? Like me saying it out my mouth. Let me ask you. All right, let me ask you a different question.
I know.
All right. Now you can say no if you have to. Am I dope?
Yeah, of course.
Have you seen a couple of my features? Am I dope as a feature?
Yeah, definitely.
Am I dope as a host?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you dope, nigga. The fuck? What the fuck? So if I'm telling you it, and you already doing all these dope things, like, do you understand how dope? Like, do it resonate with your thought process to how dope you are?
It's like I've always been too far on the humble side, I guess. I don't know. It's like every once in a while I think of these things, but then it's like it hits me like, man, I can't believe I've actually done a lot more than I thought I ever would. But it's still like, I don't know. It's still like, it's not, I don't know. I haven't like changed the whole earth yet. Maybe I'm looking at it way too grand of a scale.
Right.
But I'm just like, there's so much more I could be doing and I need to be. Right. And if I ever go around telling nobody, well, look at all that I've done, then it's like, okay, well, where has it gotten you? So then they could hit me right back.
But all right, but hold on. Whatever you already said, but the thing is, who's to say you haven't changed the earth? Because your first book is about depression. Yeah. Your first book is about, your book's about depression and talking about how to fight it, how to combat it and stuff like that. Yeah. So if you put that information out, this interview, you saying things to help people who got a thought process like you, and you showing them that even through this, you have accomplished a lot of things. Who's to say you're not changing the earth?
Ain't that something? Yeah, I guess. Definitely right. Definitely right.
You know, like, it's somebody who saw you see in this shirt and be like, yo, I want to get some shirts.
Ain't that something?
It's somebody who sent them earphones saying, yo, I want them earphones. I want to DJ. I want to DJ a couple. It's a young boy right now who come to our shows right now who's saying, I want to DJ as much shows as him because of you.
Ain't that something?
Yeah. You understand? Yeah. Like, even though somebody might say you ain't changed the earth, you are. Because the moment you start accomplishing your dreams and doing the things you're supposed to do as a human, you are helping the earth.
You know, the first person I saw that I could actually be in contact with, there was a guy from Willingboro, and he came around my house, and he had a book, and I was just looking at it. I was standing in my driveway looking at his book, and I'm like, yo, I have got to do this, man. Like, if he did it, why can't I be doing this right now? I got like 100 poems just sitting around, not doing anything with it. Why can't I do this? So that was August of 2012, and I said by the time my birthday in April comes up, 2013, I'm gonna have this book done. It's gonna be completed. So I spent those 8 months or whatever working on my first book, and it is a little dark, I guess. People see it as dark, but I see it as revealing what I've been through and what my mind still has, so that other people know that they're not alone in the struggle. So I took what he did and I let it inspire me. And thus, my whole image has been just to inspire other people. So I hope it's working. I don't fully know for sure. I do know some people that have been writing a lot more because of me, I guess. And I don't know if they're on the book level yet, but at least they have started writing poems. One person got up on stage, which we never thought was gonna happen. And I'm not gonna take all the credit for it. You know what I'm saying? The Holy Spirit is who influences me. But you know what I'm saying? But I know I helped to inspire that person. I know a lot of people at the shows have told me they think differently or they see things differently because of some of the poems or the way that I DJ. 2 people, when I used to live in Florida, 2 people told me that my poems have helped them to move on. So, you know, I guess I have been looking at it on too grand of a scale. I really should be, as long as you affect one person, you know what I'm saying, you done your job.
Yes.
So sometimes that message does get lost. So I don't know. I guess I'm just like so humble that like I lose track of like what I've actually done. Maybe.
No, I'm telling you the shit, bro. You the shit.
I'll let you say it. All right.
Nah, I'll say it for you. See, I don't have no problem saying that shit. You know what I mean?
That's so great.
They said it took you 8 months to do your first book. How did you come up with the name of your book?
I have no idea. I was standing in the shower one day and I said, I gotta think of a title. And I know red and black has always been my colors. That's always been my favorite combination. So that shapes like part of my image and like the book cover and all that stuff. Which I should have brought with me today. But the title of it is My Heart Through My Hands. And I was standing in the shower, instead of doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm standing there thinking like I need something through something. That's what I started off with. Usually my poems come with like one line and then everything gets shaped around it. Same thing with this title. I knew I wanted something through something. And then eventually I'm like, I'm honest in everything that I write. I don't just create fantasies and all that. I don't write stories that I haven't been through. So My Heart Through My Hands is the most accurate description of my style, I guess. So that's how that came to be. In the bathroom is where I do a lot of my best thinking.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
I'm not ashamed.
Did you have any mentors on poetry? No. Let me ask you a different question.
All right.
First, did you start writing poetry in Jersey or in Georgia?
It was in New Jersey. It's like 3 different answers to that because, like I said, I don't have short answers. Like the first one I did when I was 5 years old. I wanted to do it for Mother's Day, I believe. So I wrote my mom whatever poem I can come up with, and I saw how happy that made her. And I'm just like, I can actually make people happy by doing this. So then elementary school, like I would write like short stories. They would be funny or whatever every once in a while. And then skip much later, I was in South Carolina living with 2 of my brothers. And my brother who passed on, he's the one that got me into poetry. He suggested that we started doing journals. And as I wrote in my book, we don't call it diaries because a diary sounds feminine to us. So we would call them journals. And I can never be one that's just basic and standard. So I can't do it like everybody else. So I can't just do a journal entry for the day and then close it up. So I would do a poem to summarize what I went through that day. So every day that I wrote, I had a poem to summarize that day. And that's when I really started writing poetry. So then just over the years, whether it was for a certain female or my gospel poems where I really started, whatever it was, I just had this real collection. And then from that time, August of 2012, I was like, all right, now I'm going to improve them. I'm going to shape them up to be book ready, I guess, presentable. And then from August to April, then I actually put the book together. So that's kind of how all that came to be. So I guess you could say it was like a 25-year period, but overall it took 8 months when I was like really focused on it though.
What was your favorite subject in school?
History.
History?
Yeah. World War II and JFK. I don't know why, I used to really study that stuff, so yeah.
And how long you been writing?
Writing? Like I said, from
Mother's Day to now, that's when you first started Mother's Day.
When I was like 5 years old, so that'd be like late 80s. But when I like really started writing every day, that journal was like the fall of 2001. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So you've been writing for about 19 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sheesh, that should be. Yeah. That was. I guess it has been that long, off and on. But yeah, but serious about it, it's been like 7 years though.
Oh, okay.